October 15th, 2023, 2:47 in the afternoon. That's when I became a stranger to my own life. The brass key was still warm in my palm when I realized I had been married to a woman I never knew. For 52 years, that mahogany box sat on Martha's dresser, locked, always locked. "It's just old letters from my mother," she'd say whenever I asked. "Nothing important, Arthur." I believed her. God help me, I believed every word. The box was about the size of a shoebox, maybe a little smaller. Dark wood with brass corners, worn smooth from decades of Martha's fingers tracing its edges when she thought I wasn't looking. She dusted every Tuesday during her cleaning routine, always careful, always gentle, like it held something fragile, something precious. I never pushed. That wasn't our way. We were married in 1971, me 22, her 19. Different times back then. Women had their mysteries, men had their work, and you didn't pry into each other's private spaces. That was respect, we thought. That was love. But respect and ignorance, turns out they look exactly the same from the outside. Martha died 3 months ago, pancreatic cancer. The doctors at Virginia Mason Hospital said it was quick, aggressive. She went from feeling tired after our morning walks to being gone in 6 weeks. 6 weeks to say goodbye to 52 years. You'd think that would be enough time to say everything that needed saying. You'd be wrong. The last thing she said to me wasn't, "I love you." It wasn't even my name. It was, "Arthur, burn the box. Don't open it. Just burn it." Her voice was barely a whisper, but those words came out clear as Sunday church bells. Then she was gone. For 3 months, I honored her wish. The box stayed locked, sitting on what used to be her dresser, now covered with sympathy cards and prescription bottles that would never be needed again. Every morning I'd walk past it on my way to make coffee. Every night I'd see it when I brushed my teeth. It was like living with a ghost that had weight. Physical weight you could measure but not move. Most people walk away when stories get this heavy. The fact that you're still listening, that means something. Hit subscribe. I've got more to tell. The breaking point came on what would have been our 53rd anniversary, October 15th. I was sitting in my recliner, the same lazy boy I bought at Sears in 1987, looking at old photo albums. There's one picture I kept coming back to. Our honeymoon at Myrtle Beach. Martha's wearing this yellow sundress, laughing at something I said, and she's holding my hand so tight you can see her knuckles going white. But her other hand is touching her purse. Even then, even on our honeymoon, she was protecting something, keeping something close. That's when I noticed it in the photo. A chain around her neck, thin as fishing line, disappearing down into that yellow dress. A chain I'd never seen before or since. My hands started shaking. 52 years of marriage, and I was just now seeing a necklace my wife wore on our honeymoon. What else hadn't I seen? What else had I missed while I was being the respectful husband, the man who didn't pry, who trusted completely? I went upstairs to our bedroom, to her dresser, to the box. It felt heavier than I remembered, like it had gained weight from holding secrets for so long. The brass lock was old-fashioned, the kind that needed a skeleton key. For 52 years, I never knew where that key was. Martha would just have it whenever she needed to put something inside, which wasn't often. Maybe once or twice a year I'd catch her adding something to the box. A letter, a photograph. Once, I swear I saw her put in what looked like a hospital bracelet. But when I asked about it later, she said I was imagining things. Just old papers, Arthur. Nothing that would interest you. But where was the key now? I searched everywhere. Her jewelry box, her coat pockets, the kitchen junk drawer where she kept everything from rubber bands to spare buttons from old dresses. Nothing. I was about to give up when I remembered something. Martha had this habit when she was nervous. She'd touch her throat, right at the base, where her pulse would show when she was agitated. She did it during our wedding ceremony, during both times I was in the hospital for my heart episodes, during the phone call when they told us her sister had died in that car accident in Colorado. Always the same spot, always the same gesture. The basement. That's where I kept Martha's things I couldn't bear to look at yet. Her winter coat still smelled like her perfume, white shoulders, the same scent she'd worn since 1975. I found the chain in the pocket of her blue wool coat, the one she wore to church every Sunday for 20 years. Thin as I remembered from that honeymoon photo, but there was a key on it now, tarnished brass, small enough to fit in a thimble. Someone once told me there are rules that change after 60. One of them says that silence isn't protection, it's poison. I wish I'd known that 30 years ago. If you want to know what those rules are, it's in the description. Back upstairs. Back to the box. The key slid in like it had been waiting for this moment. Like 52 years was just the right amount of time for secrets to age properly. The lock clicked open with a sound I felt in my chest. I lifted the lid. The first thing I saw was photographs. Dozens of them, all black and white, all of people I'd never seen before. But the woman in every single photo, she looked exactly like Martha. Same eyes, same nose, same way of tilting her head when she smiled. But it wasn't Martha. The clothes were wrong. The hair was wrong. These photos were from the 1940s, maybe earlier. Martha was born in 1952. Under the photographs was a stack of letters tied with a pink ribbon. The paper was yellow with age, the kind that crumbles if you handle it too rough. The return address on every envelope made my blood stop moving. Willowbrook State School, Staten Island, New York. I knew that name. Everyone my age knew that name. Willowbrook was where they sent people society wanted to forget. The mentally disabled. The ones families couldn't handle or didn't want to handle. It was shut down in the 1980s after investigations revealed conditions that would make you sick to think about. But Martha's mother died when Martha was 5. That's what she told me. Car accident in Ohio. No other family. No institutions. No secrets. No lies. The first letter was dated March 15, 1965. Dear Martha, your sister Mary asks about you every day. She remembers your promise to come back for her. The doctors say she's getting stronger, but I think you should know she still refuses to eat on Tuesdays. That was always your special day together, wasn't it? Please write back soon. She needs to know she's not forgotten. Signed, Nurse Patricia Coleman. Sister. Martha had a sister. a sister she left at Willowbrook State School, a sister she never mentioned in 52 years of marriage. There were 47 letters in that stack, 47 years of updates about a sister named Mary who was waiting for a Martha who never came back. The last letter was dated 1987. Dear Martha, I regret to inform you that Mary passed away on October 3rd. She was found in her room holding the photograph you sent in 1971. Her last words were asking when you were coming to visit. She was buried in the institution cemetery, plot number 247. I thought you should know. She never stopped believing you would come back. Signed, Dr. Robert Hayes. I had to stop reading. My chest felt like someone was standing on it. Martha knew. In 1987, she knew her sister died waiting for her, and she never said a word. Not to me, not to anyone. She just kept living our normal life, making pot roast on Sundays, watching Johnny Carson, planning our retirement like her heart wasn't carrying the weight of abandoning the only family she had left. But there was more in the box. At the bottom, underneath everything else, was a single sheet of paper, official looking, State of New York letterhead, Certificate of Commitment. Mary Judith Brennan, age 7, committed to Willowbrook State School for the Mentally Deficient by legal guardian Martha Louise Brennan, age 16. Date January 12, 1968. Guardian signature required for indefinite institutionalization. Martha wasn't Mary's sister. Martha was her legal guardian. Mary was Martha's daughter. The daughter she gave up when she was 16 years old. The daughter she locked away and tried to forget for 52 years. The daughter who died alone, holding a photograph, waiting for a mother who never came back. Everything I learned about silence, about secrets, about the weight of choices, it's all in something called the 60-year rule. 9 rules that explain exactly why everything I believed about protection was wrong after 60. It changed how I see my family, my marriage, my entire life. Check the description. I sat in that bedroom until dark, holding that certificate, trying to understand how the woman who made me coffee every morning for 52 years could carry this alone. How she could kiss me goodnight, knowing she'd abandoned her own child. How she could build a life on top of a foundation made of such profound grief and shame. The last thing in the box was a hospital bracelet. Small, child-sized, yellow with age. Mary Brennan, Ward 7, Willowbrook State School. The bracelet I thought I'd imagined her putting in the box all those years ago. She kept it. Through everything, through our entire marriage, she kept her daughter's hospital bracelet. Martha wasn't evil. I need you to understand that. She was 16 years old in 1968, probably pregnant at 15. No parents, no money, no options. Society told girls like her they had 2 choices: give up your child or disappear completely. She chose a third option that wasn't really a choice at all. She gave Mary to the state and then spent the rest of her life running from what she'd done. But running doesn't make the pain smaller. It just makes it heavier. Every Tuesday when she dusted that box, she was dusting her daughter's grave. Every time I asked about it, she had to lie to the person she loved most in the world. Every anniversary, every birthday, every Christmas morning when we opened presents under the tree, she was thinking about a little girl in a hospital bed who was waiting for a mother who would never come. The cruelest part, Mary kept writing to her. The letters in that box weren't just from nurses and doctors. There were 12 letters in Mary's handwriting. Child's handwriting that never changed because her mind never grew past 7 years old. Dear Mama, I miss you. When are you coming to take me home? Love, Mary. Dated 1975, 1978, 1983. The last one was 1985. Dear Mama, I'm sick now. The doctors say I might go to heaven soon. Will you be there? I still have your picture. Love, your Mary. She wrote to her mother for 17 years. 17 years of letters that Martha read and kept but never answered. Now I understand why she asked me to burn the box. This wasn't the kind of secret you take to your grave because you're ashamed. This was the kind of secret you take to your grave because the truth would destroy everyone who loved you, including yourself. But here's what I learned at 84 that I wish I'd known at 34. The people we love aren't perfect. They're not even close to perfect. They're just people carrying pain we can't see, making impossible choices with broken hearts, doing the best they can with pieces of themselves they can't put back together. Martha wasn't a monster. She was a 16-year-old girl who made an impossible decision and then spent 60 years paying for it every single day. Every time she touched her throat when she was nervous, she was feeling for that chain, for that key, for the weight of what she was carrying. I forgive her. That might sound strange coming from a man who just discovered his wife had a daughter she abandoned, but I forgive her completely. Not because what she did was right, but because I finally understand the difference between shame and guilt. Guilt is what you feel when you do something wrong. Shame is what you feel when you think you are something wrong. Martha carried shame like a second skeleton inside her body. It shaped every breath she took for 60 years. Today I drove to Staten Island, to Willowbrook. The buildings are mostly torn down now, but the cemetery is still there. Plot 247, Mary Judith Brennan. Born 1961, died 1987, age 26. I put flowers on her grave, white roses, because that's what Martha would have brought if she'd ever found the courage. And I told Mary about her mother, about how Martha kept her hospital bracelet, about how she read every letter but couldn't answer because the pain was too big for words, about how she died whispering Mary's name when she thought I wasn't listening. I told Mary that her mother loved her, that giving her away wasn't about not loving her enough. It was about loving her too much to keep her in a world that had no place for a 16-year-old girl with a disabled child and no family. The box is sitting on my kitchen table now, open, empty, except for Mary's hospital bracelet, which I'm going to keep. Not because I want to carry Martha's shame, but because someone should remember that Mary Brennan existed, that she waited 17 years for love that was always there but couldn't reach her. If there's a lesson in all this, it's not about forgiveness or secrets or the lies we tell to protect the people we love. It's simpler than that and harder than that. It's about time. Time is the only thing that turns secrets into poison. Time is the only thing that makes waiting into abandonment. Time is the only thing that transforms love into loss. Martha ran out of time to fix what she'd broken. But I still have time. Time to remember both of them correctly. Time to make sure their story doesn't end with a locked box and a cemetery plot nobody visits. Time to understand that the worst thing you can do to someone you love isn't to hurt them. It's to let them carry their pain alone. At 84, I finally opened that box. But the real discovery wasn't what was inside. It was understanding that some locks aren't meant to keep people out. They're meant to keep broken hearts from falling apart completely. And sometimes, just sometimes, that's the most loving thing you can do.